guess for Thanksgiving or Christmas Day, or you know, just for like a Sunday roast style thing. And I'm going to be using these super cute little squash, mini squash. I've got 2 here. And I'm going to stuff them with a kind of rice mix. I'm going to add some chestnut mushrooms that I've got here, kale, shallots, sage, which is one of my favourite herbs around this time of year. Really easy, and I think you'll like it. Okay, first things first, I'm going to put my oven on. I'm going to put it on to 200 degrees Celsius, which is about 350, I think, Fahrenheit, thereabouts. And then while that's heating, I'm going to get on with my filling. So I'm going to do that first. I'm going to chop some shallots. So I've got my shallots, they're nice and finely chopped. We don't want any big chunky bits of shallots, so yeah, try and get them as small as possible. And then I'm going to heat a pan, and I'm going to add a little bit of rapeseed oil, about a half tablespoon, something like that. I'm going to just add the shallots, a little bit of salt and pepper as well, just to get it going. And then you're just going to lightly saute the shallot for a few minutes. Okay, so I've really roughly chopped this garlic. It doesn't matter, you know, if there's still a few sort of large bits in there, that's totally fine. We're going to add that to our shallot. Once you've added the garlic, you just let it saute or cook off for another minute or two, just until those aromas begin to exude, and then you're good. Okay, so I'm just going to take the little stalks out of the mushrooms. We are going to use them, but it just makes it easier to chop when you take them out. Chop the stalks first and add those to the pan. Let those saute off for a few minutes before adding the actual mushrooms themselves. So I'm just running my knife over the stalks just to get them really, really fine. It's not neat. Okay, so for our mushrooms, hump side up, and then I'm just going to finely slice. Now that our shallot / mushroom stock mix has been cooking off for a few minutes, we're going to add the sliced mushroom. And it goes. Just going to put the lid on to let that reduce down. It'll be quicker if you put the lid on. You don't need to, but time is of the essence here. And then I'm just going to take, you know, a little stalk of sage. You could use dried sage if you want, but I think that fresh sage just has a much nicer sort of and more robust flavour. Done. As you can see, our mushrooms are really beginning to soften now, so at this stage I'm going to season them, because I think they kind of take the seasoning a lot better when they're a little bit cooked, more cooked. Pepper, and then we're going to add the sage. Put that under your knife, sprinkle it over. Job's a good one. So just let that cook for a minute or so while we get on with our kale. So all I'm going to be doing here is looking for any big stalks and removing them like that. We don't want that in our stuffing. With the kale, I mean, you could tear it, literally just tear it with your hands, or I just kind of get my knife and just roughly chop it. You don't want it chopped too finely. Splash over a little bit of balsamic vinegar. It's up to you how much. About ½ tablespoon I usually go for. Give that a nice stir. Clamp the lid on again and just let the kale wilt for about a minute. You don't want to overdo it, and then we're going to add the rice. So So I've got about half a cup of cooked basmati rice. I'm just going to tumble that in. Last but not least, I've got some roughly chopped pecans, which I'm just going to add for a little bit of crunch. Some more seasoning. Under seasoned food is a crime in my opinion, so don't be coy. So my final little touch before I take it off the heat, I'm going to add a little bit of truffle oil. This is completely optional because I know some people really hate the taste of truffle oil, but I just really think it lifts the flavour of the mushrooms. So if you've got it, use it. If you don't worry about it. And that is that. So you're going to turn the heat off. You're going to put the lid on. And you're just going to leave it until you need to stuff your pumpkins. So onto the squash. Okay, so I'm going to take the lids off the squash. So I've just got a smaller knife. I think it is easier to take the lid off with a slightly smaller knife. Just run it around. Ta-da! If it's not completely stable, I would advise just taking that little nubbly bit off, and then you can work with it a lot easier. Next, you're going to scoop out the insides. It's just like carving a pumpkin, really. Don't lose the seeds, keep those seeds, and then you can roast them. Once you've cleaned out your squash, the little ones can be a little bit fiddly, but persevere and you'll get there. And now I'm going to wrap them in some foil, partially wrap them in some foil. Now I'm just going to fill them with our stuffing. Really pack it down as well. Once you've stuffed them, then you're going to get your little lid, and you're going to push it down. And the other one. Finally, we're going to add some freshly boiled water to the bottom of the pan. Fill it about halfway up. And then we're going to pop it in the oven. They've been for about 30-35 minutes. I checked them at 30 and they were done, but I just kind of wanted to give them just that extra 5 minutes because with the squash, I think you want the flesh to be like super soft. Not so soft that it's going to just like disintegrate and fall apart, but yeah, a nice in between. If you insert a knife and it goes in pretty easily like that, you know that it's done. So that's the good tester. Just going to lift it out carefully like that. There'll still be a little bit of water in the bottom, so just be careful with your fingers, obviously. That one comes. Cute. Cut into it just to let you see what the inside looks like. if you like that, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, let me know what you think of the video, and I'll be back soon with another vlog or another recipe video. And yeah, hope you enjoyed this recipe, and I really hope you make it yourself. Bye!